Slide number 25, environmental justice. And to your right is an image of environmental justice and Title VI collaborating. Okay, so let's go and spend a few moments. What is environmental justice? Okay, now environmental justice is another presidential executive order. Okay, it addresses environmental justice in minority, low-income population. The purpose of the environmental justice is to focus attention on environmental and human health effect of action on minority and low-income population with goal of achieving environmental protection for all community. Okay, now why is environmental justice important? Okay, now it is important because it helps to ensure full and fair participation by potential affected community in every phase on the transportation decision making. One of the most important phases of project development process is full and early compliance with environmental justice. Okay, now with Caltron, our take on environmental justice that we have a form that called Preliminary Environmental Study, which is the PES form. Okay, this is located in the Local Assistance Procedure Manual, Chapter 6, Environmental Procedure. So it is important that the local public agency carefully follow and complete each step to avoid unexpected project costs or delayed in project development and to ensure compliance and sufficiency submittal. So this form was created by Divisional Locals, Caltron Divisional Local Assistant. This is our take on handling environmental justice. So we created a form I call PES form. And this PES form, if any agency answer question 23 to 32 are marked yes, or if the PES result are in environmental assessment or environmental impact statement, then these following things will happen. Okay, A, any vital document communication must be translated and accessible to 5% of population or 1,000 individual, whichever is fewer. B, contact Caltron District Senior Environmental Planner and the District Senior Right-of-Way Agent to inform them the agency may implement the Title VI and outreach for this impact. So this is our way for Division Local Assistance. This is how we handle our environmental justice. On our back end, we also have, we have an external standard operation procedure that we have our district level, our district staff perform as well. So when they receive the Exhibit 6A, which is a primarily study form, which is a PES form, if they answer yes to question 23 to 32, it's going to alert the district, which is, whoever your district contact is, it will alert them or the designee to notify not only the local agency, but they will notify the district senior environmental planner and the senior right-of-way that the PES may be necessary to implement a Title VI outreach. So this is our way here at Caltron at district level, how we handle environmental justice, because we have stuff on the back end that we also take care of with our local agency. All right, thank you, everyone. Looks like we're almost done, guys, almost done. We're on slide number 6. We just got a few more slides to go, and after that, we'll go ahead and try to address as many questions as we can on the chat box, all right? Okay, so we're on slide number 26. So slide number 26 read as Goal and Accomplishment Report, which is a GNA, okay? A local agency is required to develop a yearly report of the Title VI accomplishment for the past year and goal for the next year. So it is a separate documentation from a Title VI program plan. I know sometimes we get those two mixed up. It's two different reports. Okay, one is a plan, is a living document. The goal and accomplishment report is what your agency have accomplished and goals for the next year. So those are two separate reports. The goal accomplishment report also covers activity that was carried out and activity that will be carried out for the next year. Okay. Now, for the submittal, you submit the goal and accomplishment report to your head of your agency, which is your public works director, or it could be your Title VI coordinator. But you will submit this report to the head of agency or the coordinator. You do not submit this to Caltrans. This is something internal between your head of your agency as well as your department. Okay. Now the goal and accomplishment report is basically you have a program review and a local agency review training. If you provide any training, you will put that on there as well. Any Title VI complaint that you receive, that's another example that you will put that on your goal and accomplishment report. Any corrective action plan that you have, you won't put that on that as well. So what the goal and accomplishment report, it highlights your agency effort to ensure non-discrimination practices in all activity. That's what the goal and accomplishment report, it highlights what your agency have done in the past year and what your agency is going to do moving forward. Okay. Now, I also mentioned earlier that Caltrans do not approve or review your goal and accomplishment report. That's something internal that you and your head of agency will need to work on. Okay. Now, however, the only time that report, that goal and accomplishment will be needed is where, for example, if Caltrans were to do what we call an on-site or even a desk audit on your agency, then this is a report that we will request for. Okay, what the report is going to tell us, okay, it looks like this agency have accomplished this. They have this many complaints, or they have provided some training to the staff. So this is just a highlight of what your agency is doing the past year or moving forward to the following year. So that's why that report is important to have, because when we do decide it, if your agency was selected to do either a desk or on-site audit, then these are one of the required report that we're going to request for. If you don't have them, then you're not in compliance. So you'll make sure that this report, this could be something your Title VI coordinator can perform, or his or her designee can be tracking. But this report is very important. It is a required report. Okay, just like it's required to have a Title VI program plan, this is also a required report that an agency will use. Now, a couple of examples I can provide for you where I see other agencies have used on their goal and accomplishment report. Example of a goal, they'll say educate the city staff on limited English proficiency services at all staff meetings. So that's a goal that you can put down for your goal and accomplishment report. An accomplishment example that I can provide is, you can say made office staff aware of available limited English proficiency services and further discuss in staff meeting. You put a month, a day, and a year. So that would be your accomplishment. So you accomplish that you make your staff aware of what's available. If you perform the 4-factor analysis, you have the limited English proficiency. So you make awareness to your staff on all staff meetings. So that's an accomplishment. And the goal is basically saying that, okay, next upcoming year, we're going to educate our city staff or provide training on how to handle individuals with limited English proficiency. So that would be a goal that you can set for yourself and for your agency on your goal and accomplishment report. Okay, so again, Caltrans do not approve the report. This is something that your agency internal will approve. We will request upon approval if there was a desk audit or a on-site audit performed by Caltrans. Then these are the required reports that Caltrans will be requesting for. All right, so slide 28. This is a wrap up. Okay, this is a Title VI plan wrap up. Okay, so now we went over the top 7 requirements, what should be in your Title VI program plan. Okay, you have the designation of Title VI coordinator, the Title VI assurances in contract document agreement, Title VI non-discrimination statement, the dissemination of Title VI information, Title VI training, Title VI complaint process, and data collection analysis. Okay. Now, when you create your plan, it's very important to ensure that you have a submittal date on that form. So that way you know what date that form was last updated. Okay. So once you have the Title VI program plan finalized, you want to ensure that you post the approved plan on the public website or any public that they have access to. It could be your public library, city hall, whatever the case may be. You want to ensure that the Title VI program plan, it is posted in any public area. if needed, depending on your demographic, like we mentioned earlier about the 4-factor analysis, if you have a high demographic, a Spanish speaker, or Vietnamese speaker, you want to ensure that plan is also translated in that selected languages as well. Okay, and now just a reminder: the plan should be a standard operation procedure. How you, the local agency, plan to carry out the program year to year. It's not a document just out there collecting dust. It is a living document. Okay, you want to ensure that if you have any update related to these 7, you want to make sure you update either yearly, either 3, 5 year, or as needed. So you want to make sure it is not out there just collecting dust. Okay, then you want to also ensure that when you do update that, again, we don't require you to update every year. I know with the state level, we are required at the state level to submit our FHWA Title VI program plan every year, but we do not require our local public agencies to submit that to us every year. We require you guys to update it as needed or every 3 or 5 years. Okay, so I know it's not mentioned here on slide number 28, but we went over what a LEP, a limited English proficiency, is, and what a language access plan is, as well as English, as well as environmental justice and goal accomplishment. So those will be additional report of what you would have with Title VI. So when you have your Title VI program plan, you can include that with it, but I would encourage you to have those separately, because those are separate and more in depth. So when you have the Title VI program plan, to make sure you have a plan for the limited English proficiency, a separate report for that, and you have a separate report for environmental justice, as well as a goal accomplishment report. So you're probably looking at about 3 or 4 reports, okay? Unless you want to include that with it, you can, but I will not encourage you to include all that into the Title VI program, because that may be something you don't want to update your plan, Title VI program plan every year. However, maybe your goal accomplishment, that's something you will update every year. So that's another reason why you want to keep that separate, because the goal accomplishment report you update every year, but the Title VI plan is as needed or every 3 or 5 years. Okay. Another thing I'll leave you all with this is that the regulation do not provide many express requirement for local public agency. However, when a local public agency signed a master agreement with Caltrans, which is Exhibit 4C that we mentioned earlier, they agree to conform to Caltrans Local Assistance Procedure Manual and a Local Assistance Program Guidance. I know with the Code of Regulation that we provided with the hyperlink below each slide for you all, just because this Code of Regulation does not state that for agencies not required to complete this requirement, it does not mean you guys don't do it. Because when the local agencies sign a master agreement, they agree not only to federal regulation, they also agree to the state policies, state procedures, which is the local assistance procedure manual. They conform to all policies that we have. So just because the Code of Regulation does not state it's only for a state agency, it also applies to local public agency because the agreement that you have signed with Caltrans. Okay? All right. So some additional resources. So slide number 29, I have an image to the left. Compliance, include policy, requirement, regulation, law, standard, and transparency, and rules. So those are the image to the left. And the top is a resources to implement Title VI compliance. So we provided the Caltrans Division of Local Assistant Title VI website. I mentioned that earlier, that this is a great resource for a local public agency to access if they want like examples or copies of how a Title VI program plan looks like, or they want examples of how to collect data collection. So that's a great resource to go to as well. We also have the Caltrans Local Assistant Procedure Manual, LAPM. That's another resource to go to, which is a Chapter 9, Title VI Act of Civil Rights Act of 1964. So another good resource. We also have the Caltrans Division of Local Assistance blog. So I would encourage you all to subscribe to this Caltrans Local Assistance email list, because you will receive updates to any news that related to federal aid process or publication. So this is a definite good resource to go to. Sign up for the email blog. So if we have any update regarding any future training, this is a place where we would go to post those training in the training schedule. Okay. We also have right below the Caltrans Office of Civil Rights Title VI website right below that, and also the U.S. DOT Title VI regulation, and right below the FHWA Title VI regulation. So all those is provided for you guys as additional resources. Okay. And then on the next page, we also provide some useful links. I know you all should have a copy of the PDF available to you. If not, we do plan to go ahead and post the training, the PDF, the PowerPoint presentation today, in the next couple of weeks, as well as being because this training will be recorded. It's also going to be posted in the next few weeks as well. Okay. All right, so I just want to go and thank you all for going ahead and participating in today's Title VI webinar. So your feedback is very important to us. The evaluation link will be available at the chat box. For Sherry, we'll go ahead and include that link in the chat box, okay? And Title VI certificate will be provided in the next few weeks for attendees. Okay, so make sure you do reach out to Sherry to make sure you have your email address, your first and last name correct, because she will be the one that will be sending the Title VI certificate for you all to have as well.